Pizza
and Co.
Welcome to Second-Hand Haunting, where we read ghost stories from a second-hand book someone found in a second-hand shop and try and make sense of them. One of them, sense of them. One of them, sense of them.
Callum's dying already.
Nah, I've been dying for a week, man.
How are you feeling? You know, make it through this session?
Oh, look, I'll give it the old college try. I am off the back of about a week of disgusting flu. My voice is probably a little deeper than before, so I'm digging that. But will it hold out for the entire recording session? Who knows?
Well, looking forward to seeing how it pans out. I've been working on a new theory about ghosts, actually.
Oh, hit me.
So I've always thought of myself as a bit of an agnostic. I'm not sure if you know that. Bit of an agnostic.
What?
What?
Anyway, continue.
What do you mean? What do you mean what?
Ollie the ghost agnostic Holmes.
Oh, no, I meant like an agnostic in general, like, you know.
Oh, I see. Agnostic in returns of religion.
Religion, you know, food choices. No, but like... No, just in general, I've always considered myself to be an agnostic. And if there's one thing I'm not, it's religious. And I think that when it comes down to it, there's a lot of reasons that I'm not religious. If there's be like one fundamental one is I just couldn't believe that if there was some sort of religion that even got close to getting it right, then I think that there wouldn't be so many religions.
Okay.
You know,
have you seen The Good Place?
The Good Place? Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. Anyway, continue.
So I think my new fundamental ideas around religion, well, first of all, I've always been a strong believer in reincarnation.
Okay.
Do I have anything to back that up with? No.
Nor does anyone else, so that's fine.
But being a strong believer in reincarnation to the fact where I've actually felt like I've got memories of past lives.
Okay.
Flashes, not so much as like, you know, long, drawn out, born to death kind of things, but sometimes these flashes of what feels like past lives.
Okay.
In one of them, I think I used to work on like a ship.
Okay. Any further
information?
Anything more specific than a ship?
No, I mean, as I said before, it's kind of like flashes, like kind of maybe like on a fishing ship out at sea, you know, like that type of thing. I feel like it would have had to have been like 60, 70 years before I was born, like with the technology that I could see around me.
So, without giving away your exact age, that puts us somewhere near early 1900s?
Early 1900s, yeah. But I think I've actually had some flashbacks of being around that time, like the French Revolution as well.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, like not to go deep.
Anyway, what's this about ghosts?
So, like my idea, I'm tying the idea of reincarnation, that we're all a spirit, like a soul. The soul is eternal. We're all like powerful beings that are inhabiting this period of life in this body. So from my perspective, ghosts are just between bodies.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh, maybe they've been between bodies for a while. Maybe they've like gotten out of a body and they're like, you know what? I'm not going back for quite some time.
No, that sucked. I don't want to go back into one of those.
I'm just going to hang
you can't
out here
make
for
me.
a bit.
No. Is that why they sometimes disappear? Is that they have then been reincarnated?
Could be. I mean, I haven't done the legwork, you know.
Okay, Ollie, I have a semi-serious question for you.
You don't think I was being serious?
No, I believe you are.
Okay.
But when did you come up with this particular theory? Is it measured in minutes or days?
I came up with the theory today, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I've had those like on and off flashes for probably the last, I don't know, 20 years, but around the time when I started meditating.
I didn't know you meditated.
I did meditate, yeah. That's
why I've got still?
Yeah, occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. It's why I've got the Buddha under the butt-eye tree tattooed on my leg.
Ah.
Yeah, it's all,
I don't
all
think
ties
I've seen,
back, you know.
I don't think I've seen your leg tats, but... Right.
You've never seen my leg tats? The big calf tats?
Maybe. Oh, no, I'll check it out later.
Wait,
no, we're seeing it now. All right, listener, I will attempt to describe. That is a big fucking Buddha tattoo, my man. Well, actually, it's a small Buddha under a big tree, but either way, the tat is huge.
So you've never noticed that before?
No, I don't know when I would have been looking at the back of your leg while you're wearing shorts.
That's a good point. I mean, I feel like I wear shorts all the time these days, especially with working at home.
It's entirely possible. I'm just not that observant.
I mean, that makes sense. Not that you're not observant. I mean, the people in general aren't that observant.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you know, it reminds me of when, okay, I'm going to go off on this one little tangent, and
Okay.
I'm going to stop, and then we're going to go back to the main purpose and the reason we're here. But the
Because we got 3 whole stories today, my man.
All right. One last
It's like a page each.
One last tangent. I was in Bali and we met a couple, and one of the guys had a big leg tattoo, and we started chatting because we both had big leg tattoos. But one of the things he told me is that his parents were against getting tattoos, specifically him. And
They're fine with other people getting them, just not their own son.
I think parents can often be like that.
Yeah, they can.
So he has never told his parents that he's had tattoos and that he's worn pants around them every single time he sees them. So he literally just has this massive half tattoo.
What was the tat?
I
R.I.P. Mum and Dad?
can't even remember what it was. I think it was just some fun black and white. But it was nice. I thought it was a cool tattoo.
Okay.
But I thought it was funny. It was like he just decided to wear pants around his parents for the rest of their life.
And when that didn't work, moved to Bali.
So, what incredible stories are we going to hear?
Well, how would you like to do some hauntings that are a little bit closer to home?
Adelaide?
Oh, yeah.
Adelaide.
Adelaide, my man.
God, have we even done an Adelaide story?
No, we haven't. There's not that many. But there is at least one in this new book I have called Haunted, the Book of Australia's Ghosts by John Pinkney.
Finally, an Australian haunting story.
Yeah, it is, as you can see, it's a chunky book. Yeah.
It is a chunky book. I noticed that you've got plenty of bookmarks in there as well.
No, I have but only started. But I could not help but gravitate toward the chapter of hostile ghosts. Not hostile.
Okay.
They're not travelling on the cheap.
Okay.
They're particularly angry.
Okay, cool. So, angry poltergeist-like ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, I love a good poltergeist.
But more than that, there's 3 whole stories in a row of Australia's haunted beds.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not massively afraid of a haunted bed unless I'm going to sleep in it.
Well, okay, well, shall we see how these couples got on with their own haunted beds?
Yes, we shall.
Yeah. All right. The first story has a name. It's called Couple Dumped a Haunted Bed. The others don't have names, so take that how you will.
So, like, they dumped it on the side of the road, or?
Oh, we'll see.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But this first one is from South Australia. An antique brass bed, plagued by poltergeist activity, became a talking point among South Australians during the 1980s. After receiving a tip-off about the phenomenon, I spoke to the bed's former owner, Mr. Wendy Rawlack of Whyalla. Sorry, it's not Adelaide, it's Whyalla.
I've been to Whyalla.
You have?
Yeah. I went there because I needed to
Get a cheap bed.
Support a software install.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got sent there for work. One thing that was quite interesting about it was the fact that the council chambers were in the old cinema, because that was where I was installing the networking equipment. Mm-hmm. And when I had a look up in the roof, you could still see like
the projectionist booth?
Well, like a bit of the old screen and stuff. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, you could see like the top of the cinema had still kind of remained.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, like the shell of what remained from the cinema.
Cool.
And yeah, no, it's really cool, actually. I remember thinking to myself, it's a real shame that you have to be part of the IT team to be able to
see this piece of history.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe your story has given us a bit of a glimpse, but for interstate or international listeners, I think we'd call Whyalla a country town.
Country town,
yeah.
Steel mill.
I don't think that's insulting. It's fairly small.
It's definitely a country town.
It's notable, but it's small.
The only reason it's notable is because of the steel mill, you know. So it's a profitable town because of the steel it produces. And I think it was going to go out of business for a while there, but I think they got the contract for the submarine, so that propped up industry.
Ah, that does make sense.
Still going.
Is there also a prison out that way?
I believe the biggest prison in that area is in Port Augusta.
Okay.
And if you go to prison, you'll be sent to the Port Augusta prison.
Right. Okay.
But my wife can confirm that for you if you like.
She works in law, ladies and gentlemen. She's not a criminal.
That would be hilarious.
She told me, now this is Wendy Rawlack, not your wife. She told me that recurring nightmares and visits from a cone-shaped apparition had forced her to sell. Several weeks after she disposed of the bed, Wendy met the previous owners in the street and tentatively inquired whether they had ever noticed anything unusual. So Whyalla being a small town, it's not unusual for two owners of the same bed to have bumped into each other on the street.
Right, because it was a second-hand bed?
Yeah.
Like second-hand haunting? It was
Second-hand bedding. How do we sleep while our beds are haunting?
You just really kept going there, didn't you?
Yeah. I don't. That was the wrong bit of the song to put that quote in, but whatever. I'm leaving it.
How do we sleep while our beds are burning? It's a good song.
Yeah.
You remember any of the other lyrics to it?
Well, I do know that it's
How can we dance when our earth is turning?
is the first line of the chorus.
Oh, right, okay.
And then
How do we sleep while our beds are burning?
Right.
so I fucked it up immediately, as is my usual.
That's my go-to move. Anyway, we've got a second-hand bed. We've got a couple bumping into each other.
Yeah, and a weird cone-shaped apparition.
That being said, though, I will throw it out to the audience. It's not cheap to just get a new bed.
No, especially when your options are limited in Whyalla. You can't just go to the corner store and buy a bed. I don't know, I've never been, but
It's a
I don't
country
think you can. After some hesitation, the couple disclosed that they too had seen the cone-shaped figure and had been troubled by mattress tugging, rattling, and deeply unpleasant nightmares. I don't know how you tug a mattress.
I know how you tug in a mattress. No.
Wendy had given little thought to the supernatural before she bought the bed from an antique dealer in 1981. The first hints that something was wrong came when, on several occasions, she found the bed covers ruffled, drawers opened, blinds pulled down, and books moved.
Kind of love that, actually. The fact that the ghost is attached to the bed. And we've always talked about how ghosts could potentially be like bound by areas.
Yeah, this one's tied to an object.
Tied to an object.
But not restricted to that object. It's fucking with the rest of the room.
Right. We can only but assume that they're going to fuck with the rest of the room within a perimeter.
Oh my god. Stop forcing your theories on.
To be honest, I think my old theories don't actually hold up with my new theories, so I have to figure that one out.
Or not. I mean, I don't think any one theory is going to fit any of these stories.
How am I going to start my own cult if I don't put in the legwork now?
Generally,
I've got some concrete ideas here.
You generally don't announce it ahead of time, dude.
Worked for, what's his name?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah.
No, he wrote books first.
Do you write books and then he said he was going to start a
then
cult?
privately said to a friend that this fiction game's a sham. The real money's in cults. And then later went and made a cult.
Right.
He didn't announce it, but it was recorded that he said it.
No public announcements.
No.
Are you here, folks? If you see a cult pop up, started by me in 10 years, this was the first announcement.
I'm going to take that clip and just blast it from the rooftops.
First tenant, you're all capable of doing anything you put your mind to.
Second tenant, that thing has to be me.
Put your mind to, you've got to do you.
Yep. Yeah, you got it. Come on. Every cult becomes a sex fest at the end.
It's true.
In the middle of it.
It's true. Second tenant. Oh, God.
All right, you start the cult. I'll profit from it.
It's a deep well of comedy there.
May I recommend, there is a podcast out there that talks about cults specifically.
Yeah, what's up?
Has my favourite name of a podcast possibly ever. Let's Talk About Sects.
You know what? I probably looked that up because I genuinely love researching cults. I said this to my wife the other day. I was like, I think one of the reasons why I love researching cults so much is because it's something that is just so unlike something I would do. I feel like there's just absolutely no way
That you would start a cult.
join a cult.
You think that, but that's what everyone thinks. Turns out, everyone's brain has a weird loophole in it somewhere that can be exploited.
Well, maybe that's part of the fascination, but like I just never really thought of myself as anyone that could ever end up joining a cult. So
I think if you think of yourself as someone who could join a cult, firstly, well done for identifying that part of yourself. Secondly, get some help.
That being said, I actually have wondered what it would like to infiltrate a cult, just because I would like to see what the day in the life of a cult member would be.
Now we're talking. At first, I thought our 2-year-old Prue was doing it, she said. Gradually, however, I began to wonder. I started taking notes of how I'd left the bedroom, and I shut the door to stop Prue getting in. But things were still being disturbed. One day I left a book face down on the bed. When I returned, the book was closed, and a corner was turned down.
So the ghost had bookmarked.
Yes.
Wanted to know where it was up to.
Yep. I want to know what this book was so bad.
How to untether yourself from a bed.
I never turned down corners on pages. During the 8 months we owned the bed, I had constant nightmares. They only stopped when we got rid of it.
I mean, what type of monster turns down a page?
Yeah, right? Bookmarks exist, ladies and gentlemen. Post-it notes exist. Scraps of paper exist. You can use just about anything to save your space in a book that's not defacing the book.
So true.
I know someone who turns down pages in books. Do you want to guess who it is?
No, actually, I really don't. Who is it?
Yeah, it's my wife. Our little daughter and the family cat both seemed aware that there was something wrong in the vicinity of that bed. Prue would often run from the room, crying and pointing, and the cat several times bolted in terror. One night, I was wakened by a humming noise. When I looked, I saw a white figure, shaped like a cone, just standing there. It was snowy, like an old black and white film. Now, I'm glad that we know that this is set in South Australia. Because generally, when I think about old-timey white figures that are shaped like cones, my mind goes somewhere terribly unwholesome.
Yeah, well, we didn't have the Ku Klux Klan in South Australia that I'm aware of.
No, I hope not. But if we did, it would have been Whyalla, right? Come at me, Whyalla.
I was going to say no comment. I'm not going to weigh in on that one. Jesus. Did you hear like an article about how there was some sort of Australian Nazi party that, they apparently their origins were started by ex-Nazis after World War II.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
And that it was starting to get popularity in our country. And I was like, although they admitted to how the party started, they said that they hold no Nazi values anymore.
Yeah, just change your name, guys. Be a different party. It's fine. Also, isn't Pauline Hanson's the current head of that party, isn't she?
God, if only there was just the one.
Fuck. There's more than one Pauline Hanson?
No, more than one party with horrendous values. How's that?
Yeah. Fucking Greens. That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Literally,
You know what? We probably shouldn't get political. For weeks, the humming, the nightmares, and visits from the apparition continued. On one occasion, Wendy was jolted awake by a dream that her daughter was in danger. I rushed into her room and found her asleep in her cot, with a lot of little pins sprinkled over the mattress. The only pins I had in the house were in my sewing basket, which I kept high in a linen cupboard. I looked, and those pins were undisturbed. Where'd these fucking pins come from?
Not sure.
Me neither. They don't bring it up again. Several nights later, the couple was wakened by particularly violent tuggings at the mattress.
Where are the tuggings coming from?
Not the couple. There's tugging. Not me, honey.
So, are we assuming that this tugging sensation is someone like pulling at the base of the mattress, like just
I think so. I think it's essentially
tugging the
trying
covers
to,
or the mattress?
trying to pull the mattress off of the bed frame, is what I'm assuming.
Get off my bed!
They decided at last to rid themselves of the bed. But even then, the disturbances continued. When Wendy rang a furniture dealer, she had trouble making him understand she was talking about a brass bed, and ended by shouting those two words into the phone.
Brass bed!
Brass bed! Immediately, there was an enormous crash from the bedroom. The bed had collapsed. The end.
And we never know whether or not they got another bed.
They just slept on a mattress on the floor for the rest of their lives.
I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor for a long time there, actually.
I think everyone's had that stage at some point, haven't they?
I quite liked it. You know, it's not socially acceptable, but I quite liked it.
You know why it's not acceptable?
Why is that?
Because your bed needs to have aeration underneath it, lest it become mouldy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could have gotten like one that was just like very small slats. Yeah, they do make them. I think they make like bed bases that are only like slightly off the floor.
Yeah. Plenty of people prefer it for safety reasons alone. If they have any motor disease that makes it difficult to get up onto a bed, and they find it easy to go down on a bed. Oh dear.
Some people like to go down on...
Stop it. No, Ollie. All right. That's the end of story 1 of 3 tonight. And we'll be back in a few minutes with the next.
You make it sound like we're going somewhere.
Well, we are, hopefully.
Yeah,
to
but
do
like,
a dinner. But
they're just they're not going to sit there and like blank space.
No, I will just play the like... Welcome back. You ready for another story about Australia's haunted beds?
I am worried about Nala, who is my... Well, I have to call
adorable little cat who's joined us through the break.
I was going to say, I can't call her a kitten anymore. She's gotten too big.
No, I don't think it works like pony and horse do. Once a cat's old enough, it's a cat.
No, she's still quite small.
And tiny.
She's a homunculus.
This is not the only possessed bed report I have received. In 1990, my birth year, a particularly terrifying case for which exorcism was the recommended solution was described to me by J. Green of Greystones, New South Wales. So we have left South Australia, but we're still in Australia. It's fine, right?
Begone, foul spirits, from this bed.
That's a mean way to talk to a New South Welshman. Quote begins, "The bed belongs to a friend of mine, and Nala is being a little rascal." She looks so proud. Right. She is now locked in the other side of the room. I don't know what that's going to do to our audio quality, but...
When she starts scratching on the wall. I mean, this is actually the perfect setup for a recording, I would actually say. Insulated is better, I think.
"The bed belongs to a friend of mine, and I wish she'd have the courage to get rid of it. Her husband bought it from a deceased estate as part of a suite."
Deceased estate?
Yep. So someone died and they basically sold everything in the house, including the house. Husband's like, cheap bed, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's good to clarify at this point, actually. We are talking about a bed frame, not a mattress. Because I think in the last story, they talked about it being a brass bed.
Correct. The last story was definitely just a brass bed frame. This one's part of a suite. So what I'm assuming that means is it's probably a bed, maybe mattress, bed head, maybe some bedside tables, a dresser, all part of like a whole bedroom suite.
See, I would be more inclined for it to be the bed frame than the actual mattress. Like, I feel like you'd buy a bed frame and then you'd get a new mattress. I don't think it would be the mattress of the deceased.
I should hope so.
So I'm going to labour on the assumption that it's not the mattress of the deceased.
I hope that's what we'll find. The furniture was moved in during a major heat wave. Everyone was astonished that the room temperature immediately plunged to what seemed like Arctic levels.
Stage 1 of a ghost haunting plunged temperatures.
Stage 1 of turning the air conditioner on.
Hey, my air conditioning does heat and cold, just so you know.
I wonder if this bed also does heat. It is when the husband's in there. Hoi, hoi, hoi.
Yeah, with the ghosts.
Several weeks after the furniture came into the house.
Spiritual menage a trois.
God. Is that the episode quote?
I will leave that up to you.
The family learned that the suite's previous owner had taken her own life while lying on the bed. Well, I'm glad you got that joke in before the reveal.
Like, me too.
The bedroom is so cold that the door has to be kept permanently closed. On the rare occasions the door is open, the family pets flinch away, fur on end, as they pass the room. Look, we both live in Australia. If there's a room that's just constantly cold, I would love it. It's not even on the electricity bill.
So you're saying in Adelaide, the dead of winter, what you want is a cold bed?
No.
I tell you though, when my short-haired cat has her fur standing
On end?
on end,
Yeah.
it's very obvious.
Yeah.
You know, cats get furry tails when they're aggressive, terrified, but I think my cat has a tendency to get a furry tail when she likes to play as well.
Yeah, when their emotions are heightened.
So I feel if I saw her walk past something and it went like that every time, I would be quite impressed by that ghost.
Now, does she do it only when she's in some way excited or when she's also just cold?
No, just excited.
Okay.
That's a good point, actually, because like they were talking about being on end because of the ghostly presence or because of the temperature, because I thought it was more about the ghostly presence.
The writing makes it seem like it's the ghostly presence, but, I mean, you take away from it what you will.
Yeah, I don't think it's fur on end for her if she's cold. Like, it's,
Okay.
The fur is a pretty good general coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just humans that get all prickly when they're cold.
It's kind of funny that we dropped all our hair, isn't it, in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah. But hey, at least we can live here.
Yeah, yeah.
But it makes us extremely susceptible to cold rooms.
Although I have met some people that are furrier than others.
I'm not going to interrogate that particular statement.
Some even go to conventions.
The problem is that my friend is frightened to throw the suite out. Whenever anyone talks about ghosts and getting rid of the bedroom setting, the whole house goes chilly.
Sounds like an Airbnb idea. How have we not talked about Airbnb until now? I think there is a big market out there for people that would like stay in a haunted bed.
You know how like eBay doesn't like you selling haunted objects on their site?
Do they not?
No, they don't.
You can't sell haunted objects on eBay.
No, there was a massive racket of people selling haunted dolls.
You can't sell a haunted doll on eBay.
Well, you can. The problem is...
But you can't say that you're selling a haunted doll?
Well, at some point, you are intentionally claiming that you are selling a human soul. And eBay has reasonably a problem with that. Yes, the door is opening behind me. It's not a ghost. It's little Nala. Hello.
Way to break the fourth wall. She made her way through.
She did. She's been good for now. So yes, eBay does not allow you to put a listing on eBay with a doll and claim that it is haunted by the spirit of someone. You have to at least put at the end of that asterisk, This is for entertainment purposes only. The only object being sold is the physical doll. Because also, what happens when it shows up at the other end and isn't haunted? People go, this doll isn't haunted, I want my money back.
Right. But isn't that up to the consumer?
Yeah, they are allowed to claim their money back. Little Nala's getting a little bit cheeky.
It's time to leave this earthly realm. Okay.
So therefore, I do wonder if perhaps Airbnb's taken a leaf out of eBay's book and said, you know what, no, don't you dare claim that your house is haunted.
Do you think that's good or bad? Maybe good or bad isn't really the right question.
I think a few dickheads have ruined the fun for the rest of us.
Okay.
1 star, stayed in bedroom, didn't see ghost. Want refund, please.
It's another way of looking at it as well. Like, instead of wanting the refund, you could just leave the feedback.
Like and subscribe. We should probably be asking people to like and subscribe our podcast and like share it and stuff.
Yeah, well, subscribe. Can you like the podcast on podcast networks?
In some podcast apps, yes, you can.
Awesome. Like and subscribe.
5 stars. Recommend to 2 friends.
Make sure they recommend it to other friends.
Oh no, Ollie, we're the cult.
Look, we had to begin somewhere.
She then walks to the bedroom door and says, I'm sorry. Whereupon everything warms up again. You ever thought about apologizing to a ghost?
Yes. I mean, well, you know, in that circumstance, I would. Have I thought about it in general? No.
Okay, sure. Also, I'm just going with excellent central heating. Ghosts. Sorry. Since her husband died and her children have left home, my friend has ceased to sleep in that room. But she has to store clothes in the cupboards. And when she goes in there, she becomes badly upset. The haunting is affecting my friend's health. None of this is fantasy. Everyone who goes to her house knows and fears the room. The end.
Do you think you've ever feared a room? Or do you think there's anything that has led you to believe that you could be afraid of a space or you felt a presence? I feel like the answer's going to be no, but I'm just curious.
Look, I've been afraid of particular spaces before, but generally for material reasons.
Guillotines.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Prisons. Rooms with big holes in the floor.
Sure.
Now, I've never felt, this room feels haunted.
There was a hike when I was younger where there was a rock formation on the hike and it was called Hanging Rock.
Wait, of Picnic at Hanging
No,
Rock?
no, sorry, it was different than that. It was in a place called Wiseman's Ferry, which is inland from Sydney, so around New South Wales.
Okay.
And they had a plaque there, and it was actually the place where they used to execute people.
Oh, okay.
So it had like the way that the rock had like this kind of natural formation where it had like a hole in it, and they used to like hang people on that rock, so they could just kind of like push them off a little bit.
Right, the rock wasn't hanging, people were hanging from the rock.
Yeah, people got hung there, hanged during colonial times. Is that what they call them in Australia?
Colonial times?
Yeah, colonial times.
Yeah. Sure.
First occupation.
You could say that we're still living in colonial times, frankly.
Sure, that's another way of looking at it. I mean, first Australian occupation times. Around
first white man times.
First white man times, that's right, yeah.
Anyway, would you like to hear a third story about a haunted bed in Australia?
What I was going to say was...
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Have you ever been afraid of a room in your travels?
Well, I feel like I got like a bit of an eerie feeling from that place.
Okay.
But then it could just be because I knew people died there.
Yeah. Generally cast a pall over an area.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off like that. I just wanted to finish my thoughts. And yes, I'm so looking forward to the third and the final bed haunting. Although I was hoping for something that was similar to Ghostbusters. But...
No. What, a giant Twinkie?
Something plowing through the sheets. But
oh my God.
Tell me you didn't think of that. Tell me there's not a single part of you that when you started looking at haunted beds didn't think of the scene in Ghostbusters.
I'll tell you what I thought when I saw the headline Haunted Bed.
Okay.
I thought, Ollie's going to reference Ghostbusters.
Totally counts. Well, I'm glad I didn't let you down.
Similarly bizarre events centering on a second-hand mattress. You had a reaction to that one.
Oh, it just keeps reminding me of the name of the podcast. It's like secondhand haunting, secondhand mattress.
Welcome to
Secondhand mattresses.
Oh, I feel so gross. The phrase secondhand mattress is...
I doubt it's a business you can build up.
That makes my hair stand on end. Cold rooms, no. Secondhand mattresses, yes.
With only the minimum amount of stains.
Anyway, the events were described to me by Mrs. A. Kelly of Holland Park, Queensland. Quote, "My husband and I had been married for only a few weeks and couldn't afford anything new. So we did the next best thing and went to an auction where we bought some old furniture in good condition and a double innerspring mattress which seemed to be as new." So that's best case scenario for a second-hand mattress. What about ex-showroom mattress? Is that better or worse than a second-hand mattress?
That is a secondhand mattress.
Yeah, it is, but a quote-unquote second-hand mattress presumably only had one owner, whereas a showroom mattress has had untold numbers of people on it.
They always seem so clean, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was between like an ex-showroom mattress and a mattress that someone had been living in and sleeping on every night, I'd take the showroom mattress.
Yeah, me too. I did. It comes with a good discount. There was no trouble for several weeks. Then, one night, my husband was woken by a terrible, distant sobbing and screaming. Thinking it was me having a nightmare, he shook me awake. But the horrible sound continued. It was definitely a woman's voice, and we could swear it was coming from inside the mattress, as if a radio or tape player was hidden there.
Okay, so inside the mattress.
Yeah. If you were to sell a second-hand mattress to someone and snuck in a tape recorder under there to play on a timer, that is a particular brand of evil.
Well, it's a particular brand of prank, I suppose. Like, for someone to go to that level of effort. I mean, the sheer level of boredom that they must be at to actually go to, like, cut a hole out of it, put, like, the tape recorder in, have it play. I mean, eventually it'd run out of batteries, right?
Eventually. But it's only been a couple of weeks, see? I don't know why I turned into a gangster there for a second.
See? I think I could do a gangster's accent to save my life.
We're going to hide a tape recorder in the mattress, see?
See, that's perfect. That's a perfect gangster say. Have you considered a career in gangster impersonation?
I think pretending to be a gangster is lower than actually just being a gangster.
You know, plenty of people out there get paid a freaking ton of money to pretend to be gangsters, and I would be fine with that.
Oh, yeah, they're called actors.
They're called actors. That's right, Callum. In fact, I would say that some of the people in the world that are most famous for being gangsters are actually actors. Like Tony Soprano.
With the exception maybe of Al Capone, but that's all I got.
Oh, well.
Oh, and Vladimir Putin. Anyway. Next morning, we almost managed to talk each other into believing we'd imagined it. But that night, the crying woke us again. It frightened us out of our wits to such an extent that we dragged the mattress outside and slept on the divan.
The what?
The divan.
The duvet?
The divan.
What's a divan?
A couch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to look that up as well. That's like 80s Victorian. Oh, sorry, it was Queensland. You should know this.
I definitely shouldn't. But that does not sound comfy.
No, 2 people on one divan. Divan? Divan. I don't know. I didn't look it up, to be honest. It's a couch. Moving on. Ollie will know what that means.
And he did not.
I rang the charity that had held the auction to discover where my job lot of furniture and mattress had originated. They were from a deceased estate.
Do you ever really wonder about going out and getting things from a deceased estate auction? I feel like they must be going on all the time.
Yeah.
Personally, I've actually gotten to the point in my life where I think I've actually got enough stuff.
That's fair.
Like, I've definitely got enough stuff.
I find that the auctions are only on at times when I'm unavailable to go and view the objects. So I just can't be bothered.
Do you think
Antique stores, on the other hand.
Actually, one thing that we did consider would be kind of cool is like an old record player. Then again, I probably have to get some records.
I mean, you could also just get a new record player. They're everywhere these days.
Yeah. Well, I actually wonder if things like that can become cheaper now. They're not as like...
No, I think they're only going up in price.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
Hipsters have fucked that one on us. I say owning a record player.
Yeah, you probably have records, right?
I do. And CDs. And some tapes.
You know, if you could easily navigate tapes, they were probably one of the best mediums. It was the navigation that was the issue.
No, they sucked.
They sucked?
Yeah, they degrade. They're not long-term storage.
I did not know that. I didn't have tapes long enough.
Yeah. You play a tape too many times, it just wears out. Yeah. I was never able to find out what the owner died of. However...
Syphilis. You know?
I guess you...
A lot of bed usage.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay, that took me too long. Well done. However, I had to conclude that she was in some kind of terrible distress. But my husband wasn't interested in theories. He doused the mattress in kerosene and burned it. The end.
That was it. That was the story.
That's the story.
We heard a noise in the mattress. We doused it in kerosene, and we had ourselves a good old bonfire.
Yep, and slept on the couch.
Cool story, bro.
I have a little bit more that's kind of connected to these stories that you might be interested in hearing.
Okay.
But I would like to do a little pause there, because we're at the end of the stories for today, and say, do you have an MVP from any of the 3 stories?
Well, then it's the husband that burnt the bed.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay, he's like, he's not mucking about. He's like, Exorcist, I'll show you Exorcist.
That was my initial thought, and then I realised, oh my god, there is at least one auctioneer out there in the world who has managed to sell people multiple times second-hand mattresses from deceased estates. That guy is good at his job.
Again, I couldn't even fathom that. I will tell you one fun fact that I know about kerosene.
What's that?
The one fun fact that I know about kerosene is that it floats on water.
I knew oil did. I didn't know kerosene did, but it makes sense.
Kerosene floats on water. Do you know how I found this out? I tried to douse a kerosene fire.
No. No, Ollie,
with a pot of water.
No.
And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, do not try and put out a kerosene fire with a pot of water. It's not going to work out for you.
Dare I ask what happened?
I used to fire 12 back in the day.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah, back in my early 20s. And
who taught you?
That would be me.
Okay, I was going to say lesson 1 needs to be how to put the fire out.
Well, no, I went to Fire 12 meetups, so probably a bunch of people, talking to people, watching them do things, then doing them, and then trying stuff out. Well, I didn't take any formal classes in Fire 12. I don't think you could even do that at the time. I think you can now.
I will accept that, sure.
We used to use like a half kerosene, half shellite. And I remember I just used to put into a little container that you used to put the fire twirling devices in, that you soak them. And we were fire twirling once, and somebody, could have been me, kicked over the container.
No!
And my spark must have hit it, and it lit up. So we ended up having this like big puddle of fire.
Oh my god!
And then I was out the back of a ground level apartment, and
I'm picturing a beach or something. This is in the suburbs.
Yeah. So retrospectively, it wasn't the best idea. So I ran to get a pot of water and then throw the pot of water onto the fire. Mm-hmm. And what happened was that it just, exploded into like a much bigger fire. And then I ended up grabbing a pair of jeans and then just beating the fire until it was out. But
Beat it into submission.
I did. I was able to put it out by eventually beating the fire out.
Thank God.
Yeah. So if you ever see a kerosene fire, don't throw a pot of water onto it.
No.
Learn from my mistake.
If you've learned one thing here today, it's...
I think it floats on petrol too, right? Is that right? Pretty sure.
The petrol floats on water, yeah.
Yeah. Petrol and kerosene. Just don't do it.
So, look, if you've learnt one thing here today, it's to never buy a second-hand mattress from a deceased estate. And also maybe have a fire extinguisher handy.
Yeah. Good to...
While literally playing with fire.
Yeah. Maybe don't start fires at apartments.
Do you want to learn a little bit something else?
I do, absolutely.
Or at least the book thinks it's teaching us something here anyway.
Is it, in fact, a fun fact?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a theory I think you'll enjoy. It's just a little extra paragraph or two at the end of these stories, kind of connected.
Sure.
In the annals of paranormal research, there are numerous examples of emotions imprinting themselves upon inanimate objects.
Mm-hmm.
A fascinating manifestation of the syndrome was investigated in the 1970s by an ESP study group in Oslo. Do we need to explain that ESP is extrasensory perception?
Oslo is in Norway, right?
Correct. There you go. 2 new things you've learnt today.
I didn't learn that. I knew that.
I mean, the listener.
All right.
Patients at a large hospital complained that whenever they sat in a certain chair in the TV viewing room, they experienced extreme discomfort and sometimes felt painfully cold. Knowing that this had been the chair favoured by a woman recently deceased, the investigators began by checking the possibility that the patient's symptoms were psychosomatic.
Psychosomatic Atkinson.
Is that a lyric?
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry. It's I am the fire starter.
yeah, we've just talked about that, but what's the lyric from?
I think you've not heard that song.
No, I don't know if I have. Take your word for it. If anyone knows the song, send us an email congratulating Ollie for getting a lyric right. Or wrong, whatever.
The thing that I would be most interested in would be if there's a situation where we could set you up with a haunted object to experience. Because the thing that I would be most interested in is to see someone that is a true skeptic have some sort of feedback from a haunted object.
All right, you're going to have to buy 3 dolls. One of them haunted, and then sit me in a room with them and ask me which one's the haunted one.
What if I just go to a like antique store and just find the most horrific doll there, and then have it stare at you at night?
I would ask if you're going on that trip, can I join you?
Sure.
Go to an antique store. But then they tried sitting in the chair themselves. All experienced sharp pains in the back and chest, and 3 reported that the temperature dropped so sharply it was like sitting on ice. A lingering manifestation of the woman who had died? Conceivably, because the investigators could find no physical explanation. An often proposed theory about the deep chills experienced in some hauntings is that the entity is drawing energy in the form of warmth from the atmosphere. That's the end of that little story. But I don't think I had ever heard that theory before.
Drawing warmth from the atmosphere?
Yeah, so in order to actually manifest as a haunting, it needs to pull energy from somewhere, and that energy is the heat of the surrounding environment.
What's Einstein's theory of
Einstein's second theory of hauntings.
I was going to say the conservation of energy, that energy has to be transferred.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's Einstein, but it's certainly a physical maxim.
Energy is never lost, it just gets transferred into a different medium.
Yeah, you can't just spontaneously create or destroy energy. It needs to come or go somewhere.
That's a fascinating concept. I feel free to correct me on this. I feel like energy itself is a mystical property.
I'm not entirely sure where to begin correcting you on that one.
Begin to correct me.
And either way, I know that my voice is not going to hold out for any of the explanation.
No, but can we really measure
energy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, what's the measure of energy then? It's not kilojoules, that's for sure. Haha.
That's potential energy.
Well, no, it's really. I mean, don't even start me with kinetic and potential energy. My God.
All right, we won't. Maybe we will next time. I'm sorry, I really got to stop talking.
Oh, fair enough. All right, well,
You want to do an outro?
thank you so much for joining us today on Second Hand Haunting.
Thanks, guys.